Yo, 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 what's up? It's J2O, man. You already know we out here. Oh, man, it's back at it for the weekly forecast for next week for the market of June 14th to the 19th. So, like we do, we start off looking at the forexfactory.com, checking out the news events happening for the upcoming week. So, as you see, Sunday, you see the news events. The impact is pretty low with yellow folders and medium impact with the orange. So really Sunday, nothing too crazy. And then Monday, the real first trading day, you can see there is news for JPY paired, and that's tentative. So we have to watch out for the monetary policy statement. So if you trade pairs like that has the JPY in it, it could be affected. So be on the lookout for that. And AUD is a little moderate impact. And let's go to Tuesday. You notice during around 1 a.m., you see there's news for GBP. So it's like a high impact news. So specs of movements trading the GBP pairs. And then you have the New York session with the USD, typical core retail sales M&M. So specs of movements in New York session. This pair to be volatile, trading anything with the USD. And then we have around like 9 or 10 o'clock, depending on your time zone. The Fed chair Powell testifies. So usually when he speaks, things happen in the market. So be cautious trading USD pairs on Tuesday. Then we have Wednesday. We have news for the Canadian dollar CPIM. So this is New York session again. So far it looks like New York session will be volatile. We're trading in the Canadian dollar. Anything that just trade with the CAD pairs, expect to see volatility. And then we have at Asian session at the nighttime, we see around like 8:30 p.m. or 9:30 p.m. depending on your time zone. We see employment change, unemployment rate. That can affect the AUD. So the AUD pairs are going to be very volatile. So if you're trying to make good movements, you can trade the AUD pair at the Asian session as well as the New Zealand dollar. Should be very volatile. So I'll probably definitely trade this Wednesday, looking for that setups. Then we get to Thursday, and as you see, man, like during pre New York session, a little towards the end of London session, it's gonna be crazy movements with the GBP pairs. So be cautious trading the GBP pairs. There's a lot of movements expected to happen, and that's pretty much a move on Thursday. And then Friday, the typical Canadian dollar New York session. It's gonna be volatile overall, like New York session in the noontime or 1 p.m. depending time zone. So then if we look at investing.com and you look at the economic calendar, you can see the same thing or a little more details. We try to look for the bulls. Anything that shows 3 is what I look for what I trade. The currency pairs. So you can see AUD is 3 bulls, so it's going to be very high volatility. Expect this. So around those times, be careful or be mindful you trade. This is definitely volatile the next day, Tuesday, as you can see. GB pairs. So this pretty much it, just like the other calendar, but it shows you the bulls, so if it is volatile or not. And now let's get into the charts. Let's start off with GBPUSD. This is for our chart. So as you see last week, we went up about like 2 days, and then we just dropped down, bam, bam, bam. So this week, I'm expecting to see the pair probably retrace up a little bit. Wait, hold on 1 second, y'all. So I expect the pair to go like this, potentially retrace up, test the zone, and then come back down and continue the downtrend. And maybe recorrect itself before going back down. That's one option. Or the pair could do this and just slowly come down, then come back up, and then come back down. So that's a different option. But let's look at the daily chart. So right now we're in a downtrend. You can see this big engulfing candle. So, and you can see there's like a strong wick the way the candle ended on Friday. So we can see it potentially come back up for a retest and then continue to drop down to get down to this area. So being mindful if we drop down to this area. So that's what I see for GBPUSD and GBPJPY is for our chart. Similar to GU, this pair is on a downtrend. So what I do expect for it to, either potentially come back up before it drops back down. If it goes back up, it could come back down. And news play a role because there's a lot of news this week, so news could definitely affect this pair a lot. So we go to the daily chart. As you can see, this pair have been dropping for 1, 2, 3, 4. This whole week, last week it dropped. So the question is, will it continue to drop for this week? And I feel like it's definitely going to potentially drop down and then come back up. But depending on momentum, it could eventually do a move like this, where it comes back up and then drops down, and when it breaks this zone area here, it'll come back down to this zone and maybe test and come up. If it breaks the zone here, it'll go back up. But if it doesn't and it comes down here and breaks down and comes down here, we can see it potentially coming down here. But if it doesn't break this area here, this area of support, we can see it come back up. Or we can see it come back here and then come back up. So there's quite a couple of possibilities depending on the way the news plays out for the GBP pairs this week. Now let's look at AUDUSD. So we're in a downtrend right now. So right now I expect this to be a continuation to the downtrend. During like market opening, it could come up and then come back down and then come back up and then come back down. That's one possibility. But let's go to the higher time frame. Let's go to the daily chart to see how the pair was moving. So this pair likes to move smooth. So right now it went up like last week. It was like playing around up and down before it dropped. So I see it continuing to drop. I see it continue to potentially come up a little bit, test the area and then drop, and then continue to drop down for this week to get down to this area here as a potential target. But if the market does come back here and breaks this zone area, we could potentially go back to the upside. But that's like a slight possibility, but it's highly likely probably going down for a downtrend this week. So be on the lookout. And now look at gold. So gold is pretty interesting with all the stuff going on with coronavirus. So gold is a FOREX chart. So what I see gold is potentially dropping because I know Friday we ended on a rally up. So I see gold potentially coming back down, before going back up, before potentially coming back down. But if we go to the daily chart, we see there's a lot of consolidation here. So gold is struggling to break this area. So you could potentially expect it to potentially come back down. It went up a lot this week. I can see it come up, but then potentially come back down for this week. And if it breaks this area here, we definitely could go back down and then skyrocket get down. But if it breaks this area up here, we expect it to shoot up and create new highs. But overall, I think it's probably going down this week. So probably look mostly for sales. And now let's go to the Dow Jones, man, US 30. So this week, it pretty much tanked. The Dow Jones pretty much tanked because the whole fear of the coronavirus, the second wave, so it dropped. So for this week coming up, I expect a retest for it to potentially come back up. Probably during Monday, come back up before it drops back down again. Let's go to the daily chart. So yeah, I see it potentially continue on the downtrend, but maybe have one last push back up before it drops back down to test this area over here. So that's what I see happening for the Dow. So we'll see. It's always interesting see what's happening to Dow Jones because all this corona and this whole protest stuff. And then last but not least, we'll look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, let's go to the daily chart. So Bitcoin hasn't been moving anything too crazy. It's kind of like trying to create newer highs. So I do expect Bitcoin to be on an uptrend overall for this week still. I see it potentially coming back up for the week. Maybe test back here, but creating new highs. Lately, you see the pattern and just playing around. But if it breaks this trend line, we can see it finally coming back down. But so far, I see it going up for this week overall. So that's my views. What's going to happen in the market? Make sure you guys like, comment, and let me know what you guys think. We out here.